All right. Well,
Okay.
welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Klein, and I'm really excited to welcome everyone to this school year's very first Student Protagonism event. As our audience members know, those who have been able to come to these before, these sessions are a really powerful opportunity to hear from students about their experience. With less of a focus on the educators and more of a focus on students, we can learn an awful lot about what works and what doesn't work in education in a way that I think is far more direct, right, than adults sitting around talking to other adults about what we think works. So we're really excited, as always, to bring students to this forum for an opportunity to share some of their experiences. Today we have students from a variety of places, and one more coming in shortly, all of whom have been involved in the DiSkills program, which I will let them explain. A really powerful program that What School Could Be has partnered up with. And we're really excited to have the opportunity to share what students have been doing through this program and the potential of the program, but also, of course, of the practices connected to it that could be transferred into other schools and classrooms. So folks, you are welcome to ask questions. Feel free to raise a hand if you have a question that you want to kind of interrupt the flow with, or ask it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on the chat and make sure that those questions get asked. I'll try to make sure between students that we also have that chance each time somebody finishes, that we'll have that chance for you all to ask questions if you have any about their specific projects. You know what I forgot to ask at the beginning was who wanted to go first of the students we have here today. Is there anyone who is just aching to be the very first voice tonight? Or do I have to call on a victim?
I
I,
can
I
go
see Jody
first.
turning on you. Okay, so we'll go Jody, Pavit, and then Ikenna, if that sounds good. All right. So Jody, please start by introducing yourself and where you're connecting from.
Hi, I'm Jaddy Mad. I go by Jaddy for short. I live in Fort Mill, South Carolina. I'm a Puerto Rican Hispanic, and I've been working with the skills for the past 2 years, pretty soon after they started, and I was a student in their first ever sprint, and now I'm working for them. So
Excellent.
I've
Excellent.
definitely worked my way up.
Perfect. Well, tell us a little bit about the experience you had with DiSkills originally, and then bring us up to today.
So, over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to take part in multiple sprints with the skills. It's been a wild ride of learning, creating, and adapting, from building no-code apps to launching merchandise lines for the skills. With the skills, each sprint pushed me out of my comfort zone and really helped me level up my skills in ways I hadn't even imagined possible prior. Right before I started working with the skills, I didn't really know what I wanted to do because I've always been interested in art, and I didn't know how to make that a viable career for me. And my class had a great digital art program. My school, I mean, had a great digital art program, and that's how I kind of got sucked into digital art. And Hannah was doing the her first sprint for schools around the Charlotte area, and actually my school was the furthest south that she went to, and I was just right place, right time. My teacher told me about it and I signed myself up. So the first sprint I did in spring 2023. In my first sprint, I worked alongside a partner who's no longer doing these sprints because it's not his career path choice, but I really appreciate him for helping me get into it. I worked alongside with him to create a no-code app for a local antique store. It was a 2-week challenge, and although the store wasn't interested in the final product, I didn't let that stop me from showcasing my skills, and the process of completing it taught me resilience and the importance of seeing projects through regardless of external validation. Then Hannah was like, "Hey, we have another sprint." And So the second sprint was summer 2023. In my second sprint, I decided to take things up a notch and created my own app building business, competing against 100 other participants. I was proud to win third place, even though I eventually chose not to pursue that specific business venture. It sparked an idea to launch what I am now working towards, a business that I'm running called Unity Gear. It's not like out there yet, but I'm working on it. A brand that helps companies use digital tools to connect more deeply with their customers. And in my third sprint was the spring to summer of 2024, like a little bit in the winter too, was I did Impact 10. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Skills Impact 10 project, but the Impact 10 project is a little bit longer. It's like 2.5 months of learning how to get yourself out there, how to reach out to companies, how to use your skills, learn more skills to create your own business ventures, your own paid internship opportunities rather than just waiting for them to come by.
Mm.
After I joined that, I developed a merchandise line for Skills. It's not out yet, but it's there. It exists, and I'm excited. This sprint really cemented my relationship with the company and led to an official contract to work as a student mentor for Expedition AI, where I now teach students how to create using AI, everything from music albums to cookbooks. Of course, I did face my own challenges. The biggest challenge I faced throughout all these sprints was networking and getting companies to take me seriously. Because obviously, I'm like, at the time, hey, I'm 17 to 19. I please take my business. To take me more seriously. It was frustrating to put an effort into projects and not always get the interest I hoped for, but it pushed me to get creative and keep moving forward and really grow that resilience. These sprints have taught me how to stop waiting for opportunities to come to me. Instead, I learned how to create opportunities using my own skills, whether it was working with no code platforms or pivoting my brand. I gained practical skills that translate directly into paid gigs. I've loved watching the skills grow and being a part of the journey since almost the beginning. It's really opened my eyes to how AI can be used as a tool to enhance creativity and business processes rather than a competitor. The experience also changed how I approach team collaboration and problem solving. I'm more adaptable and driven now. I can't wait to see how much further we can go and what we can teach others. I'm very passionate about this and I think it's my forever career and I'm ready to keep growing on it and grow as technology increases, as AI changes, etc.
Amazing. So you have some visuals to show us, right? Is this the merchandise
Yes,
site?
I do. I can
We
show
get a
you.
sneak preview here.
Yes, you can get a little sneak preview of the merchandise. Mm,
Yeah.
Wow, drum roll here.
I know. Here's the little sneak peek. All of these I designed using I forget the name. It's an AI tool. It's not ChatGPT. It's one that I've only worked with once for this. I want to say it starts with an M. I'm so sorry.
Mid-Journey.
Yes, Midjourney. Thank you so much.
There you go. Yep.
Yes, I created all of these using Midjourney with various images. This little robot's my favorite. Using quotes for the skills and everything has a very like post-apocalyptic theme. And I got really into it. It was a little difficult at first because all of it is in like a game stylistic. There's a video game called Borderlands, which is a post-apocalyptic game that this style is sort of based on. And I'm not a big video game person, so I had to do my research, ask my friends about it, etc. We have everything from stickers to t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops. We also have mouse pads and laptop sleeves. I'm definitely very proud of this. It took a long time. I created it in the spring and then revisited it because it didn't resonate with the brand and how I wanted it to be represented through the merchandise line. So I worked with Hannah and the Diskills community to better align it with the style of the company and just to really cement it. And I think now it really shows that, and hopefully we can add even more images to it in the future. And yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing. What a great, and you're already getting sales, just to let you know, Jaddy, in the chat there.
Yes.
Mel has already, it made it very clear she needs a robot hoodie. So
The
I,
robot's so cute.
yeah, super, super cute. So you've got some opening customers already excited for this. What would you say was the most challenging part of this whole journey with Diskills for you?
I think confidence was the biggest challenge
Mm,
starting out. Now I'm more confident and comfortable in myself and my abilities, but it's really hard in the beginning, especially if it's a skill of yours, because to you, you find it more easier than other people may find it,
mhm,
which that's just how it is.
mhm,
And it's hard to commit to yourself the fact that, hey, this is something people would pay for, and I may not be the best at it, but I can get better at it. And even
mhm.
the level I'm at now, people will fly to the opportunities, and it's really primarily the confidence of starting out. I think once you get going, you get like your first paid opportunity and you're like, "Oh," and then you keep going and then you're like, "This is an actual career, a viable career," that I think a lot of younger generations and younger people don't understand because we are the first generation of a native technology people. Like, we grew up with technology. We're the first generation to grow up with it. And we have a huge advantage point with that, that we have seen it grow and we are growing with it. We are the generation growing with technology. And I think that more people should learn how to hone on those skills that they have because they've been using it forever. So
Excellent. That's great. Do we have any questions for Jadi from the community, from the group?
Jody, I think what you said about you might not be the best at it, but you can get better. That's a piece of video gold for us right here at What School Could Be. That's just a beautiful attitude, and it's a beautiful way to understand how your confidence is building as you go forward, because you're just going from getting better to getting better to getting better, right? Which is a really, really cool way to do it. That's awesome.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I have one last question. I always make sure I give enough wait time before I jump in with another one. But one last question for you would be, what do you hope that educators might learn from the kinds of experiences that you have had with Diskills? Like, what do you hope would transfer to teachers inside classrooms, inside schoolhouses from this?
I hope that inside schoolhouses, people can stop treating technology advances as something negative or something that can negatively affect their teachings, because it's really a tool, and that's the whole reason why it's being innovated more and more, like every second, is for it to be used as a tool. And I would like for educators to educate themselves on more technology and to not discourage younger students from going out on a limb and starting business ventures and having the faith in themselves. Because although I don't think educators are talking down on students, I do think that it's been societally discouraged for younger people to just go out of the norm, out of the regular career paths. And the truth of the matter is that technology is the future, AI is part of the future. It's here and it's here to stay, and it should be used as a tool, not a competitor.
Love it. Oh, what a great insight. Thank you, Jadi.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. And now I understand that Jadi Mar is your full name and that now I get the whole thing. My
Yeah,
apologies
it
for
gets
earlier.
confusing.
It makes perfect sense now. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your ideas and for sharing your experience. Let's go ahead and move on then to Pavit and have you share a little bit about your DeSkills journey. To start by introducing yourself, tell us where you are, how old you are, what grade you're in, where you go to school, and then give us a little bit of a sense of your journey with DeSkills so far.
Hello, everyone. I first wanted to start with thank you so much for having me here and joining to see how DeSkills has impacted students like me in doing so many cool things. So I am Pavit. I'm in 7th grade and I'm 11 years old. I go to the Learning Community Charter School, and I have very recently started working with DeSkills and attending sprints over there at DeSkills. I started my DeSkills journey in the summer of this year, where I discovered, my mom and we were sitting down, and we discovered that there was a platform like this called DeSkills, where we could learn about the technology of the future world, which is AI. As Jadi already said, it's here and it's here to stay. So it's super important that we learn about it. And when I saw that we could do so many cool things with AI, I immediately told my mom, I need to do this. I have to sign myself up. So what the sprint that I attended was an AI adventure camp where we learned how to make our own book. And this book has been a really insightful experience for me, and I've decided to take it forward by doing the DeSkills Expedition AI course, which we're now learning to make 7 different AI artifacts, which I also thought was really cool. And I had to experience how we could use AI in not just these different aspects of studying or helping us in our day-to-day lives, but we can also do a lot more with it. So I will really quickly share my screen.
Excellent.
And
Excited
I'll
to
give
see
you
your
a
work.
sneak peek. Oh, here we go. Are you guys able to
We're
see?
just seeing your Google screen
Oh, okay.
on your browser.
Once I might have shared the screen.
That's okay.
There we go. You guys can see the Google Doc?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So for my book, I first wrote a manuscript for my book. I wrote all of the pages, and then I went to ChatGPT. I use it to help drafting my my story and giving me image prompts. Then I can take these image prompts and go to a tool that I use called Adobe Firefly. We can just put this right in here, and it generates so many cool images for us, which we use to make our books. And in just a few seconds over here, we're gonna have a bunch of images that will be really cool for our book. Oh, okay. So we can use any of these images, images. And then we head on over to Canva, where we can design our book. And I designed my book in Canva, and I put all the text in here. I put my images, my cover. So this is my cover. And then I made a side-by-side image format, image to text format. And this is the book that I've written. The book's name is The Water Guardians, and it's a tale of teamwork, determination, and community to help for 3 kids who are helping saving water in their community. I use these sketch style images, and using the help of AI, I was able to do this, which I never thought was possible before. And the dream of writing my own book seems so far away, but now I know how to do it. And voila, just like that, I have my book on Amazon. We publish it on Amazon, and if you search my name, you'll get my book right over here. And at the end of the day, seeing this dream of writing a book come true was incredibly insightful for me, and I was able to see how AI could transform how quickly we do things and how well we do them. It's just a really amazing tool that I feel like everyone should learn, because it can really affect how we do things in our future lives, and who everyone who is growing up in this generation will eventually need AI. So I really feel like this is the technology of the future and everyone should learn it.
Ah, what an amazing project. And just to let you know, you are getting so many compliments on that book. And clearly there was a second book as well, right? So you've replicated this somehow and created another book, which is pretty cool.
I have created a second book, and currently my next projects are those of Expedition AI, where I'm learning to create a music album currently. And I'm also working on more books. I'm currently working on a series for my school, which follows the 6 set of values that they have, called circle values. I'm currently trying to make books for those too.
Oh, very cool. That's a nice piece of community service then too for your school. Josh, you have a question?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Oops, sorry.
Oh.
Question from Josh, if that's okay, Pavit.
yes, you can continue.
Pavik, may I ask you a technical question? So tell me again, what was the name of the program you're using for illustration?
It's called Adobe Firefly.
Got it. And so after the AI generates an image, are you able to then go in and actually do some photoshopping of that image? Like it isn't fixed, right? Can you work with it and
Yes,
adjust it according to your wishes?
with other AI tools, yes, that is possible. I've done that for a few of my images when sometimes the images come out bad. And from there, I learned that not everything always comes out right. And we have to do a lot of tweaking, and you have to be really patient, and you have to be really, really patient and resilient, and you have to persist until the end to get the images just how the way you want them.
And then one more question. This one is a little bit more, it's more about the story. Let's say you and I get into an elevator and we've got 30 seconds together going up to the 6th floor. What is your book about? What is The Water Guardians about?
So the Water Guardians is about 3 kids who help clean up water in their community. It's a tale about dedication, hard work, teamwork, and the power of community. I wrote this book because I was inspired by an organization that I work for called Save Drop, and all the profits that I get from this book on Amazon are donated to Save Drop.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
That's
Well
very
done.
cool.
Well played, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
love that. Love that. All right, I'm going to end on that same question that I asked Jadi a second ago. Pavit, what would you love to see educators, your teachers, your principal learn from the kinds of experiences you've been able to have from DiskIlls?
So I definitely, and again, just like Jadi said, this is the technology of the future, and it it's super important to learn how to work with it, as it's the main tool that I foresee we'll be using in the future of the current generation. And I see that currently in schools, colleges, a lot, even some of the workplaces, AI is regarded as somewhat cheating or doing things how you're not supposed to be doing them. And many people view it as negative to do it using AI. But in fact, AI is so helpful. It can make your job productive. It can get it done in half of the time, and it will produce a much better result that I feel like we can upgrade to from what we're currently doing. And the technology is, I feel like it's currently viewed as negative, and how I want it to be, and I wish it will be in the near future, is that it's positive and helps us pursue our dreams, just in so many different ways, from creating music albums to merchandise lines to bots to books.
Oh, this was great, Pavit. And you're getting some compliments too. Peter was saying in the chat that he's particularly impressed that you are donating your profits to the charity that you care about, right? Prioritizing something that matters to you. So thank you for sharing your experience.
I actually volunteer at Save Drop.
Ah,
So it's again an organization that helps saving water in your home.
excellent. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for educating us about that as well as sharing your project. Thank you so much. We're going to go on to Ikenna and then Mayalani as well, who joined us a couple minutes late, but not very, actually. We were expecting it might be even later, so that was great. So Ikenna, let's go ahead and move to you. Introduce yourself first and then tell us about your experience with DeSkills.
Awesome. Well, first, I'd like to say I am really impressed with Jadi and Pavid. I have a lot of work cut out for me, so thank you all for holding me to a very high standard. So my name is Ikenna. I am from Michigan. I live in East Lansing, Michigan, going to Michigan State University. I'm 18 years old and an incoming freshman. So I just started college about the first month in of living in a dorm. So it's a very different experience from living back at home with my family. Although I can pop in and out at home because I live 5 minutes away. So if I ever forget my toothbrush or anything, I can head back pretty quickly. So today I'm really excited to tell you guys the brief story of how I got started at DeSkills. So I got started this past summer. I was a part of the June 2024 group at the DeSkills program. I did the AI and Me program at one of my schools that I went to as a senior in high school. So I was a student at Okemos High School, a nearby high school, and for half of the day, I went to Wilson Talent Center, which is a school where you can develop technical skills and stuff like that. So I was taking the engineering program, and near the end of the school year, well, actually, I'd say about halfway in, um, I got an email one day about an AI program that my school was providing. So it was an individual sprint that you could go through, and you could basically learn about AI as you went, and you could experiment with AI. You could have access to certain AI tools that were new and developing that not too many students like us had access to in our state. So we had to choose a research topic, something that interested us that is related to AI. And I chose how AI and humans are different from each other, the different skills and the different things that set us apart, and how we can work together and look at AI in a more positive way rather than as competition or just something negative overall, as we've mentioned. So I did my whole research, and all of us presented our findings at the end of the school year. And there was this panel of people that were listening to our stories and what we experienced. And one of those special people happened to be Hannah. And that's when I met Hannah. It was in May of this year. I had not heard of the skills at all prior to that. And at the end of my presentation, she shared that she had her very own AI program that she was offering going on the following summer, this past summer. And we could all be a part of it. She gave us a scholarship, so we didn't have to pay a single penny. She gave us full access to the skills platform, and we were all a part of the AI program that she offered this past summer, the program that allowed us to start our own businesses and develop our own skills, whatever digital skills that we see necessary that we want to carry out into the world as we see fit. So let me share my screen real quick.
We're excited to see your work.
So first, I want to show you guys my LinkedIn profile. That was one of the first things that we got done in the program, just building our platform and starting to make connections with loads of different people in our area. As you can see right here, I listed the AI and Me program that I was a part of in the May that led to me joining the skills in the first place. I even got to meet the governor of my state. So here's the governor right here. Here's me. Here's all these very special people standing by me. And it was a very exciting time for me to really just learn a lot more about something that I didn't really know a lot about before. As you guys have mentioned before, AI is something that is really looked down at a lot. Just saying the word chat GPT in some classrooms can get some just bad looks. And that's really not the way I see it anymore. After I went through the skills program, I learned how to create my own GPTs. So this page that you're seeing right now, I made some posts in the Rebel base, as we call it. We all shared our own GPTs with each other. And the number one GPT that I created out of 5, I had a little fun. I created 5 total GPTs, but the main one that I created was this logo design one. And it's a GPT that helped me help businesses in my area with creating logo designs. So that was my main project over the summer. This one was my main GPT, as I said, and it helped me create these logos that you're seeing on the screen.
Cool.
And
very nice.
thank you. And I'm very proud to say that these logo designs were created by yours truly, but I took lots of inspiration from what ChatGPT gave me. So I worked with 2 businesses over the summer. This one is a barber shop that I go to. As you can see, I need a haircut right now myself, but yes, this one is one of my favorite designs that I created, this very first one. It went very quick because using ChatGPT expedites pretty much anything that you want to do. So I just told it to create a minimalistic and somewhat like black and white, maybe some color, and it gave me some designs that look very similar to this one. And I just tweaked certain things, took certain aspects of different designs that I liked, and I turned it into this and the next one. So I gave the barbershop 2 different choices. The barbershop to this day still hasn't reached back. The owner is on a very long vacation, but that's a part of the process sometimes, not getting a response from a business. In fact, Hannah tells us that it's good to fail because if you're not failing, you're not trying. So the fact that some of us were outright denied by businesses, that's not a bad thing at all because it shows that you're putting yourself out there. And not everyone recognizes the value that you can offer. The best thing that you can do is just continue putting yourself out there, doing your best, keeping a smile on your face, and just trusting in the process because things don't happen overnight. So the second business that I worked with was an African and Caribbean market. My family goes to this market quite a bit. I created two quite different designs. As you can see, this design is very vibrant. It's different from the rest of them. It's because I wanted to try something new. I didn't want to keep on doing the same things that I was comfortable with doing in the past. So that was one main theme throughout this whole sprint was pushing my boundaries, exiting my comfort zone, doing things that I knew were different, and just trusting in the process, knowing that over time I'll get better. So the underlining thing with me designing these logos is that I used Canva, just like Pavit. Canva is a very, very good tool to use for pretty much anything artistic related. So if you're trying to create slideshows or logos or just trying to draw, you can create pretty much anything with Canva. So I would start with my logos in Canva, and then after I was done with something I'm pretty proud of, I would put it into Adobe Illustrator so that I could export the files into a variety of file types so that they could be used for whatever potential clients would want to use them for. And here is the design portfolio that I created over the summer. It's pretty minimalistic. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but this is a platform where I can display the designs that I've already created. And in the future, I'll keep adding more and more designs as I go. So that brings us to today. Well, for the past month, like I said, I've been in college, and college is really busy, but that doesn't stop me from continually improving my skills. So every single day, I'm chipping away at my design skills, trying to get used to the monster of an app that Adobe Illustrator can be at times. Lots of different tools, lots of different features in Illustrator, but it's really, really powerful. And the more and more I use it, the more and more I get better. So going forward, I'm not only going to work with local businesses that are right by me, I'm doing more and more research into online businesses that might need my design skills. And in the future, I plan to build websites for companies too. So I'm not only limiting myself to designing logos, I just wanted to start somewhere simple and so that I can build upon that as I go. But in general, the skills program was really amazing. I consistently visit the Rebel base to see what other students just like me are working on so that I can also get some more inspiration for myself to keep going on. And yeah, I'm never going to stop. This is just the beginning. I started the skills program just about 3 months ago, and I've been able to accomplish a good amount, I'd say. So I'm just getting started, and I'm really excited to see what I can do next.
Oh, love it. Love it. That was great, Akenna.
Wow.
Thank you for that. Do we have a question for Akenna from the group? I always have questions. I
Best,
can always pull something
the,
out, but yeah,
the
Josh.
best 3 words ever. Four words. I'm just getting started. Love it.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. Ikenna, what would you say was the biggest challenge along the way for you?
The biggest challenge was the fact that I haven't really done anything business related in the past.
Mm.
So, a lot of business is about getting yourself out there, failing, um, just a lot of interactions with other people that might not appreciate what you're doing. So, a lot of it is just putting your head down, doing the work, knowing that the time will come when you'll land a big deal, you'll land a big client, I mean, and people will start to see and value the work that you're doing. So yeah, just understanding the fact that things don't come as fast as I might like them to, because we live in the age of technology and we're so used to everything just fast, fast, fast. sometimes we're not as patient as we should be. So yeah, just putting my head down, doing the work, and knowing that one day my hard work will pay off. That was the hardest part.
I love it. Thank you for that answer. Mel, you have a question for him?
Yeah, I'm wondering what skill, Ikenna, you already had that perhaps AI or the process of using these different tools help to augment and take it to the next level that maybe you wouldn't have had the opportunity to use or cultivate in the same way.
Great question.
Yes. So I've always loved art. From a very young age, I was drawing on any piece of paper that I could find. So, my creative abilities really helped me be able to take advantage of some digital resources and tools that I had never used before. So, I'd say mainly my drawing abilities were what allowed me to really take advantage of AI's capabilities to augment my existing creative skills, to expedite the process and just really take it to the next level.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well,
McKenna, I was sorry, just really quick, Jennifer.
yeah.
McKenna, I was just in Kansas City and I heard from a student there who echoes what you said in the sense of she talked about how she did not have any ability, at least to her, to draw, but that her work with AI is actually helping her to realize that she does have an ability to draw. She just needed that kind of companion work. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I think that there's a really important lesson here for educators too, because I think so often we provide all the experts and all the connections, right? We develop the global partnerships. We find that key person who can help you with X, Y, or Z, whatever it might be. But I really, and I've been saying this for years, I really love the idea that you all are learning to do your own networking, right? That you're learning to utilize tools like LinkedIn to create that broader network of support people and experts and lots of different things on your own, right? I think it's a really important move from the teacher provides it to this is an autonomous process. So I really appreciate that came up, and I see that Jadi also provided, her LinkedIn information there in the chat. All right, Mahialani, time for you. Introduce yourself, please, first of all, and then tell us about your experience with DeSkills.
So my name is Mahalini Jackson. I think, and I'm a senior at Kamehameha Schools. I think one thing that I think has been a life changer for me is understanding that, school is teaching us that there is only one right answer. You go through math, you go through all these things. And so from a very young age, you are conditioned to think there is a routine, there is a process, and you're trying to get to a specific answer. And I think what makes getting into the real world what really separates people like us and kids, you guys, is so inspiring to see what you guys are doing. But what separates us kids who are taking charge of our own future from other people who are going into that corporate 9 to 5 is that we understand that there isn't one right answer, and we're okay with that. Because in the real world, there's so much possibilities and there's so many ways to look at things. There really isn't just one way to do things. So that has been first of all, something that I've learned. And even Josh was saying, I am a super creative person. I have no artistic ability. I have tried to draw since I was little. I tried to clay everything. I suck at it. So having AI to actually be able to illustrate these creative ideas I have, to see even in concept what they might look like if I were to have someone draw it, is super cool to me. So my journey with AI, I knew it existed. I've been tech obsessed since I was a kid. When I was 6, I got into computer science. I wanted a Raspberry Pi, which is this little circuit that you used to buy and you could code it to do all these different things. So I would beg Santa when I was 6 for the Raspberry Pi. And then it became the robot dog I would see on the kid TV commercials, any new tech I was obsessed with. And once I got old enough, I realized that, I had to stop relying on Santa and I had to actually get my own money. So I would spend my summers doing chores to save up for a VR, Nintendo Switch, anything that was latest, because I loved the tech. And then I would take apart my old kid tech toys and analyze all the circuits. And I started programming, but I got irritated because programming, there is one right answer. I didn't like that. So I stopped with that. You had to get it very exact. And I'm a creative person. I like to push the bounds, find out the best way that I can do things for myself. And so what ended up happening is I started off like as this very bright kid. I was building all these different things and I never ever saw a box. I didn't even know there was a box. I was like, I can do anything. And I would go through an elementary and I would have teachers sit me down like, well, Mahia, like there's a traditional way to do things. Like, you know, you have to go to college and get a degree. And I would always be, you know, and after a while it kind of got to me and I was like, maybe something's wrong. And so I also had undiagnosed ADHD. So I didn't resonate with the whole sitting in a classroom and learning, despite the fact that I was like a total nerd, loved learning, had so many books. Going into high school, it after COVID, it really started to hit me because I wasn't used to, I mean, first year of COVID, even teachers were figuring out how they were going to adjust to the whole COVID thing. So I was already not sure what to do. I felt super discouraged. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life because I just knew what I didn't want to do. And I didn't know that it was possible for someone like me to actually do the things that all of us kids are doing. And so we had this thing at our school where it's a little TV and it shuffles through the slideshow of announcements and then little opportunities, internships, things like that. And I came across, and you guys might have heard of it, it's called Nalukai. And I was like, oh my God, it's this entrepreneurship like camp and it's free and you get a free laptop. I was like, this sounds amazing. So I went to go apply and I filled up all the application things. And then I saw a section for the portfolio. And I was like, oh my God, like the latest project I did was like back in the 4th grade. And after I lost like all motivation, I thought everything was hopelessness. And I was like, oh my God, like despite me having this passion and ambition, I don't have any experience to show for it. So I had 4 months to turn in the application. I was doing Coursera courses on digital marketing, working on doing internships. I was like, I'm going to get this experience. And so after all those months of trying, I didn't get in, but it taught me that when I apply myself to something, you know, it can actually become possible. So I had all this knowledge and I realized from the traditional school sense, I was like, okay, my GPA isn't too well because those first 2 years of high school. I don't have any extracurriculars and I do not like sports. And then I looked at the TV bulletin thing and I saw the skills. And so I was like, okay, why not? So I joined it. It sounded pretty cool. And I quickly learned it was more of a AI with also the business entrepreneurship kind of look at things. And so I was like, oh my God, like this sounds pretty cool. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to challenge myself 10 weeks. I'll commit. I'll try. I'll just see what happens because this is like right up my alley. It's not traditionally, it's create your own path. And that's what I really love doing. So we started off by making our LinkedIn, by doing all of that and choosing kind of a niche of what we want to help, the businesses, our goals. And I was like, I'm going to push myself. I want to get 200 LinkedIn connections, but I ended up getting 100 in just 48 hours. And I wanted to connect with professionals in my niche. I wanted to grow. I wanted to do all these things. And I realized that the second that I started just trying, the second that I started and got over that fear of like, it isn't for me, I'm 16, who's going to take me seriously, was the second that I started to see like actual success. So like, for example, I was emailing businesses to ask if they wanted help with SEO or marketing or see if they'd be interested. And I would have some businesses reply to my email within 3 minutes saying, oh my God, I'm so glad you asked this. We need someone. And then they would just forget and I would get lost in their email. I would follow up like 3 times, nothing. So I got super annoyed and I was like, oh my God, like email isn't the way. I'm going to start cold calling these businesses. So I pick up the phone and I said, I'm going to start practicing with ones that don't really matter. So I'm going to go, I went on Yelp and I just picked a random one and I called it up and I started talking. The first time I did horrible. I was super scared. I like from a kid, I'm an anxious person. So I was like, oh my God, I was like on the phone. I was like, hello. And I was saying things, but I was super scared and it didn't go that well. And then I sat back to myself and I thought, what went wrong? What can I do this next time? And I said, okay. And I called them again and I got someone very interested and I got like a first unpaid client. Then I was like, all right, if I just get over that fear and I understand that being uncomfortable actually means I'm in the right direction and that means I'm growing as a person and that means that I'm doing the things that, you know, are going to help me become successful, like Ikenna was saying, and they're going to make that hard work meaningful. It just shows I'm on the right path. So I started cold calling more, I got more clients and really building my own personal brand so that I don't have to sit on a phone all day and cold call. And so I got my first 2 paid clients from LinkedIn. I closed in $1,000 deal. And then shortly later, I got offered another deal for 1.5K. And so that was like my aha moment. Like, you know, this whole idea behind money, behind skills. I mean, at the time I was only 16. And I was like, okay, if I'm being offered, you know, $1,000 for an entry level knowledge just because some other people don't really want to do that stuff and they understand that I'm a teenager. And at the time I was doing marketing. So I said, okay, I understand that they know that I know social media better than them. They understand that I grew up with this technology. I can leverage that to, you know, even say high prices. I didn't know how to price my things at all. I just named a price and they said, okay. And that's when I was like, oh my God, like, you know, things I was hoping to go high and negotiate down, sales techniques, but that's when I realized that the only things that are not possible is what we tell ourselves. And that we keep putting ourselves in a box as people, as kids, teens, and adults, and being able to realize that anything that we do, if we tell ourselves we can accomplish it, that we can, you break it up into tiny steps. For me, it was making a LinkedIn profile, getting to learn how to reach out to businesses, and then eventually starting my own business, creating my own LLC and figuring out that type of stuff. It has been like beyond life-changing to my own like learning paradigm, how I see things, and then also kind of nice to like the inner child of me who is like, it is possible all along. Like we really can dream and actually like get our dreams to come to fruition. So I think especially with AI, it has been like such a game changer. And I think what DeSkills does so well is show kids that it's possible and show them that you can do these things. You can overcome these limiting beliefs and understand that like, what school is setting you up for is to get that you can get good paying jobs. I mean, I always joke with my mom, she's a psychologist and I wanted to go into psychology. I love psychology, so many psychology books, but she spent so many years in school to get her degree and to run her own business and to get it all started up that I was always just thinking to myself, like, I would not want to spend that much time in college. And I just hate that. Oh my God. And the idea of like, I want to start making an impact as soon as I get out of high school, even before high school, I want to start doing things. And so then I started doing college in high school. And now I'm going to be able to graduate at 18, my bachelor's in business. And so little things like that, that I took myself from being a kid with ADHD and anxiety and all these different issues who didn't know how to regulate it, didn't know how to fit into a system, who then realized that like, I'm trying to conform myself to a system that wasn't meant for me. How can I benefit myself with my own rules, with my own ways of thinking that can actually allow me to succeed in a world that will benefit me and my success? And I think hearing other students, even as young as Pavi, who is doing like, you're doing such amazing things, it makes me so happy for the next generation of kids. And then even seeing people like Ikenna and JD, I think that's how you say it, sorry, who are, doing, you guys are doing such amazing things. And it makes me realize that there are other kids doing it. And I think, and I'm sure maybe you guys agree to this, that sometimes it can feel almost lonely because not a lot of peers or people at school are doing the same things or see the same impact gaps or ways to help businesses, ways to make money. And I mean, I have some kids that are like, oh, I just really want to get a raise at my Wendy's job. And for me, I'm just like, if you spend a month learning skills, you can leverage that on LinkedIn for like a good, like way more than minimum wage. So I think just the paradigm shift and realizing that we have a world with 8 billion people. There's 8 billion opportunities, 8 billion people you can help, so just realizing that overall you can make an impact. And I think that's like the skills has really helped me with.
Oh, this is great. Is there any chance I didn't get to prep you beforehand, but is there any chance we can see some of the work that you've done for businesses? Is there something visual that you can share?
So, okay. So I will share. I got a couple tabs open when I heard people were sharing stuff. So this is my LinkedIn right now. I had originally wanted to have 200 connections at the very end of the program. Now I have almost 700 followers and I have 500 plus connections. I hit that 500 plus mark. And then this was me at the Hawaii Book and Music Festival at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, where I got to share about AI and education. And then I actually got invited to be at the Hawaii Business Magazine Wahine Forum to talk more about for the panel of women. I think it's on the leading of technology. Oh my God, just slipped my mind. Women on the cutting edge of technology and artificial intelligence. So it's showing that like also even if you do feel really comfortable with that traditional route, you like order, you want those things, like you can use AI to help you get real world experiences to get that on your resume, your application. It can really apply for anyone. There's no one path to do things.
I really love the insight that you offered too about trying to find your way in a system that wasn't built for you as opposed to building your own systems. And I think that's, it's one of the things that I wish that more educators would understand is that if we only do things one way in the classroom and what it feels like to someone like you is I'm just sitting here not really taking it in and it's not motivating something bigger in my life, then we could be doing different things, right? We could be building different systems as well inside the school. Questions?
I think we've got Jill. Jill, do you want to just turn on your mic and ask the question? That's a great question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering, all of the students here tonight have such initiative and drive, and, they speak about, just growing all the time. But for students or youth who don't seem to have that level of self-awareness, Melania, you said that, you feel like the system was not working for you, so how could you leverage it to work for you? Where I think about some of my students who, feel like they're trapped or that they're not able to find a path forward. They don't have that, I guess, I don't know what to call it, that energy, the drive, they just feel like, well, this is where I am and I can't change it. I'm wondering how we could encourage or, support students just to, I don't know, get started on the path somehow, like for people who may not have that self-driven sort of quality.
Yeah, I mean, from my own experience, like I was again super driven from a young age, but I lost that. And I had a lot of things going on, ADHD, I had anxiety, all these things. And there was a point in my life where like I couldn't get out of bed. I felt hopeless, all these different things going on. And I feel like a lot of kids feel that, they have other things going on in their lives, or even school can really make them feel, just like again, they're in a system that wasn't built for them and make them feel hopeless. Like, am I going to really I mean, I always saw school. I used to tell like my mom at a young age, like, I'm going to go to elementary for middle prepares me for high school, which prepares me for college, which prepares me for a job, which prepares me to retire. And retirement is when I'm 60 and I just get to like travel the world. And I was like, that's so like, what? And I was like, I already felt hopeless. I was like, is this what my life is going to look like? So the first thing for me was understanding that that isn't really how it is. And when we're around people who all kind of believe that and want to go on that path, it's super hard for the kids like me and the other kids here who want to go the extra step, the extra mile. And a lot of the times, I truly think the kids in school that maybe seem like they aren't performing well or they aren't a good student, they are an amazing student. We just haven't learned how to tap into that potential that they have in their way of learning and unlock that. So I think part of it is awareness and letting these kids know who feel hopeless and who are in this little box they've created for themselves. Like it is possible. And then teaching them how to take small steps because you don't have to do it overnight. Like I think what made things so easy for me to do in the past 6 months has simply been because like 2 years ago, I just started taking small steps every single day. Just, even like atomic habits, if you guys ever heard about that, it's just 1% better every single day. And that compounds and that compounds. And learning how to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable and pushing myself regardless, no matter how I feel, getting the job done. And I think that when you're in such a when you're in your own head about things and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, and this doesn't resonate with me, I don't want to do this, or even hopeless about anything in school, in life, you don't even feel like you can do those things. And that you don't have to start doing those things. It's just the small things. And I think in like education, awareness, making sure students are aware that there is other options for them. They don't have to do that. Or go that path. And then second, I think it's also like the job of teachers to kind of have a sense of innovation and curiosity and have kids also try things on their own. Like I would have teachers before who they'd be like, you try this first. We'll see how you conclude with this, and then I'll help you with it. And I think that is like allowing students to have those critical thinkings because even with AI, we're scared about it losing critical thinking. But when you really think about school, it's so much of a path. Is there really any critical thinking there? So understanding when students have their own ideas, they have their own thoughts, and then teachers to support that, they nurture that, it really makes a difference in their success.
Ah, what a great answer. I wonder, I don't know if others of the students here might have an answer as well about how you spark that drive or that excitement or that passion. Yeah, I cannot,
It
please.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so just piggybacking off that, lots of students who might on the surface look like they're bad students, like Mahia was talking about. Um, a lot of them, they have their own passions that they're pursuing on the side outside of school, be it music or art, like we've been talking about lately. So a lot of the time, students like that, they feel like school just drains them so much that they're not able to set aside enough time to pursue those things that they actually care about. So since they're feeling so drained, they don't really perform as well as they should be. And they just have this overall negative outlook on life. But it's not because they don't believe in anything or because they don't have anything better to do with their time, but because they simply really can't because school isn't allowing them to. So just adding on something, if teachers are more open to what students really care about, the skills that they're trying to pursue on the side, if they're able to incorporate those passions into their actual school life, then I think that will really help students.
Ah, great answer, Ikenna. Thank you. Jadi, what about you?
I think that the biggest thing is the school district understanding how much power they really have on the younger generations and how every single thing you say will be taken into account from the age of 4 to the age of 18. It's all being taken in, and they're the adults of the world. So as we're going through this system that's already been set for us, we see it as this is just what we have to do. This is what we are meant to do. And like what Mehelani was saying, I had some medical diagnosis that came to light that after COVID especially, I think a lot of people realized how school was more difficult for themselves than other people around them, their peers, especially because being online gives you the opportunity to be more comfortable with yourself, but then you don't have the social aspect. And then it was a really hard transition for most of us to go back to school after COVID, of all of a sudden, we're back in the system, we're back to being told all of these things, put in boxes, check off these boxes, and you need to do XYZ, but you can't do it until you do ABC. Like,
Mhm.
you have to do all these preset steps that don't work for everyone. They just don't. It's unfortunately a broken system, and I think that we should all acknowledge that and work on it, not be mad at those in positions of power in terms of school, and instead realize that it was also how they were brought up, and that as the world goes on, as life changes, that we need to change our curriculums, that we need to change what we teach students. And I think I put this in the chat earlier, but we need to instill overconfidence. I think a lot of the time it's brought up in school where students are taught that this is like what Mehelani was saying about that everything in school is very black and white, when the reality is that life is all gray. There's all, not even just gray, rainbows, all of the colors, like everything. It's like there's so much more to what you can do, and that even if you are good at the school system, that doesn't mean that you are less than those who aren't. Like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with if you are good in school. That's amazing and it's impressive in and of itself. It's just the acknowledgement that not everyone's wired the same and not everything works the same for everybody, and that we need to take new technology into consideration and really hone in on that and encourage students to be innovators, because we've really started to teach younger generations more so how to be sheep, how to follow instruction, how to do what they're told instead of just get creative. Learn how to follow instruction, but also learn how to collaborate. I think collaboration is a big thing, not just group projects. I mean, genuine collaboration of learning to brainstorm with others, learning to come up with other ideas with one another to invent and innovate and be a part of this growing world that we've created. And it's amazing in and of itself now, but it can be better.
Ah, great answer. All right,
Well
Pavit, you
said.
have the
Well
last
played.
word on this question, and then we will wrap up for everyone.
Yes, so I don't know how Jadi, Mahia, and Ikenna, you've noticed this in the higher grades or more as along your school journey. I'm only in middle school, so I haven't seen too much yet. But I remember that we had a teacher in elementary school who always used to say this quote: every child has a present, but they open it at different times and for different things in life.
Hmm.
And I really agree with how that teacher paraphrased everything that is, I would say, discouraging kids from not liking discouraging kids from liking the school system. And there's a lot of kids who have different passions. There's some who have a love of learning. I really like learning. I really like school. But then we have a few kids in our class who maybe like basketball, or a few kids who really like art. And the way that our schools today are structured, it isn't really allowing for, just like Ikenna said, it doesn't really allow for kids to explore things that are out of school and more into their comfort zones and what they really like. And I can understand that school is preparing us for the future, and I totally agree with that. However, it's not something that everyone can follow. The set path, at some point you have to deviate off of it, because the way it's structured, like all of you guys have mentioned before, it doesn't really work for everyone. And the passions that other people have and discover, they're not really supported. They're supported a lot by our teachers, but they're not really allowed to be explored in all of the schools that we're traditionally used to.
Yep, absolutely agree with you. I see a lot of heads nodding. All right, well, this has been an amazing conversation. Before we close, Mel, do we have any announcements of other things coming up that we need to make sure we make?
Oh my gosh, Jennifer, I didn't prepare because I was just listening to everything that was happening.
That's quite all right.
Instead, I'll just direct everyone to whatschoolcouldbe.org/events, and you'll be able to see our upcoming sessions there. So I apologize. I was totally engrossed in the conversation.
Quite all right. Well, and I will mention that we have our next big think coming up on October 8th with my personal favorite educator in the world, Arnie Langberg, who really shaped a lot of my educational thinking and has been a mentor and very much like a second father over the years. So I hope that many of you will be able to join us. I want to ask our audience, please, to unmute your mics so that we can give these young people a audible round of applause for the amazing insights that they shared with us this evening.
Woo, woo.
Thank you all so much. It's really such a delight, and this was a perfect way to start the new year, with so many great insights, not only into your passions and the work that matters to you and what you've learned along the way, but also some really important insights about education as well and what we need to keep working on. So thank you everyone for being a part of this. On behalf of What School Could Be, it's been a total pleasure to facilitate this conversation, and we hope to see you again soon at our next events. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey.